Yes.
All right. We're at it again.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, because you know I have a message.
So, it's been almost 2 weeks since we last recorded. Sad.
Sad but true.
Yeah, it's been hard. We've been wanting to do it every weekend. We failed.
Yeah.
Having
Life
kids
with
is
kids.
yeah, life with kids is just difficult. But we're back at it again. Let's just catch up on some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the most special thing we did?
This past week?
Mhm.
And or week?
Anytime.
Oh, baptism.
Baptism, yeah. So we baptized our second born
Yeah,
on the
John.
20th, Saint Sebastian, which was perfect because the Pope just came out about 2 weeks prior saying that we need to know our baptism day.
Treat it like if it was your birthday.
Treat it like as if it was your birthday, and that really
Birthdays
hit.
are special
Yeah.
in our family. Our family.
Yeah, well, now it's becoming special
Becoming special.
because I was very hard headed. I did not want to celebrate birthdays because I just didn't.
I guess it was just ridiculous for you.
I don't know. I grew up like that. We never really celebrated birthdays, so like,
Yeah, it's sad
yeah.
because it's special. Like that's the day you were born. That's the day God gave you to be born into this world.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. You know?
Well, the funny thing is, I was born on Our Lady of Lourdes, so it should be even more special.
Yeah.
But I still didn't want to celebrate, and I was born on my mom's birthday, so it should have been
Which is
super special.
Super special.
Yeah. So, being born on my mom's birthday is special, but then being born on a day of Our Lady is even more special.
Yeah.
Yet I did not see it that way.
Which,
Sadly.
Sadly.
I mean, it's not. My parents grew up alone
I'm
here.
not trying to bash on anybody, but like I feel like the importance of birthdays and, like you said right now, baptism days. It's true. It should be treated like a birthday because, like, that's the day we were born into the Catholic faith.
Well, into the faith,
Into the
period.
faith. Oh, well, yeah.
That's when we were welcomed into the Christian faith.
Faith. Yeah.
So it's
Oh, so let's talk about the baptism.
so the baptism was very beautiful, depending who you ask, right?
Yeah.
Because I can see why it could be boring for some,
Yeah.
but since we were the ones actively in it, as if what I'm trying to say is that we were the ones baptizing.
Participating. Like we're the ones. Like,
It was our
in
baptism,
Yeah.
pretty much. So it's different. I can see why people would think it's boring because, going from the Novus Ordo to the traditional Latin Mass or anything traditional, it's very different.
Yeah.
So Novus Ordo, clapping, participating more. There's more noise,
Or
and
charisma.
normally you baptize with more people.
Yeah.
So here it's always intimate, and
It was
that's
just very intimate because it was our son, the only person who was getting baptized
yeah,
that evening. And it's just, for me, it felt beautiful. It was beautiful. I enjoyed it. I don't know, everything.
and thank you
about
for
it was beautiful.
and thank you for all those who actually came.
Yes, thank
Um,
you for joining us,
It
the fam.
we honestly felt supported. Although sometimes we understand that we may be in something different, but we felt supported,
Yeah.
uh,
Loved.
loved,
cared
which
for.
which was great because
Mind you, it's an hour away.
yeah, it's an hour away from where we live. We all
Yeah.
live, so we felt supported, we felt loved, and which is good, right?
Yeah.
But thank you very much, and hope we can do more.
Yeah.
Hopefully that little girl comes soon.
Oh my God.
No, only if God wills.
That's another topic for another day.
But the baptism was very different. Something that we're not used to, right?
Yeah.
You and I.
We did different rites. What is it?
No, it's the same. It's
No,
still.
no, like not different rites, but like.
But we did the exorcism
Yes.
in the beginning outside of the chapel, which is
was,
something
like,
that
mind-blowing for
yeah,
me.
yeah, because we've never done something like that. I've never. I mean,
Yeah,
we kind of did something like that, but not at the baby stage.
Yeah, not a baptism.
Yeah, a baby baptism.
Yeah.
So it like doing the exorcism, giving the baby the salt, doing everything outside was really something that I thought was beautiful because it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Just doing it exorcism, and then the priest putting his purple stole on the baby and on you
As we walked in.
as we walked in, and then reciting the creed was something that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, we would do a profession of faith, but there's two professions of faith within the baptism itself. the creed, and again the another profession in a different form, right? But I thought it was very beautiful, and this is something I was talking to Sam, which hopefully you listened to the episode, right?
It just came out today.
It just came out. So if you're a man and or a woman, go check out Pines, Pipes, and Cross Catholic Show. It's a show I have with my
They
co-host.
gave you a big shout out.
They did. Oh yeah, Mass of the Ages came out and actually mentioned me in one of their stories.
That's actually a big thing for him because he's super excited. I was actually super excited for you because I was like, oh wow, this is his first big shout out.
Well, we've been talking, and you know, I would love to be a podcaster as a career because I have several goals, not just because I want to be lazy at home, but I have certain goals. I have certain goals for the podcast, certain things I've always desired to have, and hopefully God, you know, grants it to me, and if not, it's okay. But back to the baptism, I was telling Sam that women nowadays, or at least the ones that I've spoken to, feel degraded within the Catholic Church, and that, you know, that they don't do enough, that they don't feel as important because there's always something for the man. And yeah, maybe in the traditional sense, the only ones that can be altar servers are boys, because it kind of encourages them to be priests. You know, you and I sometimes watch certain, we go to an FSSP parish, but sometimes we look at SSPX, the seminary on YouTube, and they're all boys, and they all used to be altar servers for the most part. And so it's reserved for boys because that's where they get called to the priesthood, right? And I was telling him that I was impressed with the churching of women, and then also getting consecrated to Mary, which is something that I was like, wow, I wish I could do something like that, right, for myself. And it's something special, and it's something that women sometimes forget, that the church has a part for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because back then, a few years back, we always talk about it, but it's important to bring it back again, because I felt that the first year of marriage was difficult, and it's hard to talk about it because I always felt alone. I always felt that God didn't have anything for me, that I was just Jose's wife. Like, people in the parish that we will attend didn't even know me by name until you came along, and you were new.
But not because I was special, but because I would sing.
You had a place.
Well, because I would sing. I was part of the, in normal terms, I was part of the choir. I was the head of the choir.
You were the head of the choir, but even though I was, I had been in the parish for a long time, I was just there pretty much. That's how I felt. And for a long time, I felt like, I'm just called to be your wife, to sit back, just nobody knew who I was. And then we had Jacob, and then I had to struggle by myself, and you were singing. You were in the choir, which is nothing bad, but, as a parent, like, you need that support from your husband.
Yeah.
And
vice versa.
And like I said, I didn't feel that God had a place for me. I just felt like, you're the wife of Jose. You're the wife of the psalmist, the cantor. And that was it, right? That was it. But doing this whole churching
of the women,
I felt that God had finally, like, called me home. Like, this is not dying, not calling me home, but like,
no, yeah, back home to the church.
Yeah, like, I felt like this is your place.
Well, it's kind of the same way you felt with the veil the first time you attended a Latin mass.
Yeah. Well, right? I don't know if I already talked about that.
No.
So I'll talk about it later. But back to the whole churching of the woman. I felt that that I had found my place. That I had found where I belonged, because it was just so beautiful. It was just for me. Dedicated to me, and I don't know, it was just a emotional, I guess, feeling.
Because you even did a whole procession with the priest, starting at the beginning, at the entrance of the chapel into the church.
Yeah.
So it was even I thought it was beautiful, and I didn't do much. I was just watching you walk in with your candle.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, and your Latin is not the best.
I did not know. I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was reading. I did not know what I was supposed to read, even though the priest had told me what to read. I was lost.
Yeah.
I was lost, but yet I was found. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that which is something that like we kind of, it's hard to express to people or to kind of explain because everyone asks us, oh, but how do you go there? Do you understand Latin? Do you like understand what's going on or this and that? And it's like
No.
the problem is not that we understand. That's not like we're not there because we understand.
Mm-hmm.
We're there because what we don't understand makes us feel home.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's weird. It's weird to explain, right?
Yeah,
like the Latin, for some reason, you know, of course, is close to Spanish, and you can figure some things out. But like for the most part, the unknown, the mystery behind the Eucharist is like, whoa.
I think that's the beauty of it because it's so mysterious that you're just trying to like. You're just trying to find God, and then you finally find Him within that mystery. It's just really hard to explain unless you live it, like unless you go and experience it yourself. Because we can be like here chit-chatting about it, but until you go and experience something like that, like you'll be wowed.
Well, it's funny because like I think kind of like when on Friday when we went out and these people began to ask us so many questions, I told the guy that, you know, I can talk to him about it, explain it, whatever, but the thing is that I can't. Because it's an experience that's once in a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
but for the rest of your life. And the thing is that like the liturgy itself works on you without you having to do anything.
Yeah.
Like you just show up and you pray and the liturgy works on you. And so like and I feel like that's what happened. Like when you were walking down the aisle into the towards the rails, I felt that like that moment right there was working on you whether or not you knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because the priest, there were some comments were that the priest was very strict, right?
Yeah.
And I found him very funny.
Yeah.
I found him strict, but at the same time showing that love, and it's like, wow, like I haven't seen that in such a long time. Mm-hmm. And I saw that the moment that he was doing everything. He even asked us if we wanted to do the churching, if we wanted to consecrate ourselves to Mary. And then while he was there, while you were at the rail kneeling doing the prayer, he even showed you with mercy, told you what to do with mercy, and continued the prayer with you. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
I think he even answered for me because I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
And then I guess I felt like he actually like cared enough or like had mercy on me. It's like, oh, you know what, poor thing. She don't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it was just very, very. It was a beautiful. It was a beautiful.
It was something that's just very different. I mean, something so important, and it's funny because I was actually looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I'm
excited.
Yeah, I was for the first time.
Yeah,
I was very excited. You know, I'm an ex-seminarian. For those who don't know, I was in the seminary for 4.5 years, and of course, when you're in the seminary, you kind of get used to seeing so many baptisms, seeing so many ordinations, seeing so many steps within the church, and it's like, I was so used to it that I became numb. Mm-hmm. But then here comes this form of baptism, and I was actually excited. And the steps, for some reason, it just made sense to me. And like, I was excited. You know?
You were excited.
And for the first time in my life, I didn't pay attention to who was there, but paying attention to what God was doing at that moment. Mm-hmm. That moment is he's getting baptized in the name of Jesus Christ, getting baptized.
Like giving them the salt.
Yeah.
Like in their little lips, because it wasn't like he like put it in their mouth. He like sprinkled them with salt. And the baby, Jonah, he was just like, tasting it. Yeah. And that the meaning of salt is like you
being the salt of the earth. I think.
Yes. Like
I think so. We're still learning, 100% the traditional sense of it. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I think it's becoming the salt of the earth. Mm-hmm. Maybe I may be wrong. Well, I'll check that later and then reconfirm another time. But yeah, it was amazing. Just the exorcism itself, 100% was just wow. Like this is something I've never seen before.
It was intense. Like I was just like, wow.
But yeah, sorry for that. Kind of had to edit the little sequence out because we had to grab our little kid, our little son, and he's smiling.
I'm not gonna show him too much in camera because.
Oh, you want to get the stroller or the little bed?
It's okay.
But yeah, I just loved all of it. It's something that like I think people, and I would love to like talk about it because it just bothers me a little bit that there's such a misconception about it, you know. So many people, and you know, within the Catholic Church, you know, bishops are canceling Latin masses. They are diocesan, and the FSSP are like borderline almost getting canceled as well. And it's like, man, like these churches are getting filled, these parishes are getting filled, and like it's sad to see that people have these misconceptions about it and don't even care to learn about it, and seeing the beauty in it, you know.
Yeah.
Seeing our second born is our first baby who's baptized within the traditional sense, and it's beautiful. It was so beautiful seeing him happy, he was actually happy. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like I saw joy in him afterwards, and you know, celebrating it with family was awesome.
Yeah.
But more than anything, the importance that it's done with us is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that we want to, the importance of baptizing ASAP, not waiting a little bit of time. And of course, what I wanted to say before was, what the priest said was, that the godparents have a role to play by showing them with actions instead of words, the faith.
Yeah.
And it's something that, it's funny that he said it because it confirms something that you and I have been talking about, that we've been called to show and evangelize with actions instead of words, because I'm a prolific talker. You know,
Yeah.
I talk a lot. I justify all my actions. There's a lot of talking, and it's like a lot of talking it's nonsense because I talk a lot, but at the end there's no weight to what I say.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, now I'm living my faith the way I think, or I know God wants us to live the faith. And because before, we weren't teaching my son anything, or the firstborn, we weren't teaching him anything. We wouldn't really do anything churchy within the household. We wouldn't teach him anything. Now he like we've mentioned before, he grabs the rosary and begins to pray it himself, right? And it's like, wow, that's something beautiful.
Yeah.
You know. And so like and when he said that, it just confirmed within me, at least, you know, we're doing right.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing what we have to do. You know, if this is the way we need to lead our kids to faith by actions, then so be it. You know, because a lot of times the temptation is to talk, and justify everything. And that's me. It's always been me. I want to defend myself. I want people to always like me. You know, and I think that's where it took such a long time for me to actually figure out what way I wanted to live my faith.
Yeah, I mean, and it's true because we used to do a lot of talking, some more than others, but you know, at the end of the day, because people are looking, you know, if you tell them, oh, I go to church, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna scrutinize you, and then they're gonna, you know, they're gonna see everything, every detail that we do. But that's why it's important to show by actions. And
if you can do it with words and actions, even better.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, our kid started crying. But yeah, if you can do it with words and actions, even better. But at the end, what people see are actions. St. Francis said that.
Yeah.
You know, St. Francis said to evangelize better. It's better to evangelize with actions than with words. And I guess, you know, it's difficult because we ourselves didn't like. I guess you and I have just been people who like are just very stubborn people who don't like people telling us what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And I think that's the main thing, that like of maybe like being humble. But it was so hard because when we were trying to be humble, things still weren't right with us.
Yeah.
And then we find this way of living the faith, and it's like, man,
now
we're
God had to humble us.
Yeah,
His
he
way,
did. Yeah,
you know?
I agree with you, because I feel that, like, I think we're in something more strict than what we were in before.
Mm-hmm. Which is good, which is better for us, because we need like a strict, like, well, how can I say that? Like a discipline with our spiritual life.
Yeah.
Because other than that, if they let us, like, do this, do that, do this, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, no,
to do it.
Yeah, we're rebellious at the end of the day.
Like rebellious by.
But then we fell into something way more strict that was like, they don't say anything, but you feel it.
And you want to do it.
Yeah, and you want to do it, because at the end of the day, like, you see it. I mean, I think your family. It was funny because I feel like your family walking into that chapel felt like, oh, we need to be silent.
Yeah, they had to be quiet.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because of the priest or whatever, but
I guess it was just the unknown. You know, you don't know anything, so they just, I guess, got a little shy. But I mean, it was good. I mean, you can see the different side, like the different. It's still within the Catholic religion, but you know it's
just a different
practice.
way. Yeah, the way I describe it is like Carmelites and Franciscans. Those who are called to the Franciscans will never make it in the Carmelite order. Mm-hmm. It's the same faith, only different way of living it, and you're called to a different one. That's why there's different congregations within the Catholic Church, different groups, because there's different charisms within, and the best way is that. I mean, someone who's a Carmelite will never be called to be a Carthusian. Carthusians are monks who never talk. Mm-hmm. And they're just locked up all day and pray all day in their cell.
Yeah.
But a Franciscan can't live that, or a Carmelite, because they're not called to that. Mm-hmm. They're called to something a little bit more active, a little bit more talking with people, socializing a little bit more. Maybe not a lot, but it's different. And I think that's what we've been called to. We've been called to be in the church in a different way, mm-hmm. because we wouldn't have made it elsewhere.
No.
You know, like if I went to the Charismatics, I wouldn't have made it. For sure, I wouldn't have made it. But then I come to the Latin Mass, or to the traditional way of doing it, and it's like, it fits. I feel home.
Yeah.
I feel so much me. Mm-hmm. You know, I can be a better dad and a better husband.
Yeah.
You know, and to be open to God's will, which is like very difficult, because like nowadays inflation and all this, and then, you know, you and I are open to life, and it's like, okay, being open to life means being open to life, not like before.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, we're open to life, but like, nah.
Open to life, but then I cried when I found out I was pregnant.
Yeah, instead of living it with joy.
Yeah, because it was tough to accept God's will. It's tough to accept God's will as it is, but when you don't have God in your life and you say you do, like, it's a different kind of like hypocrisy, because you're just saying, but you're not feeling like you're doing God's will. You just be like, oh, I'll do God's will, but you don't really want to do it.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the type of people we were, you know. And it's like, okay, we needed a change, you know, because we could have been where we were at before, but at the same time, it's like, man, what's I kind of see it like Mother Teresa's calling. She got a call within the call. And I feel like where we were at, we received this call to move to the traditional Latin Mass, and we did, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel that those who are still within where we were in, some of them are very holy people. Yeah. And it's like, wow, because they were called, you know. And this is something I guess I've told many people. We didn't really have the choice 100% to be in it or not. So like, for us, it was like, wow, we found something. We finally feel at home without having to judge anyone, without having to criticize anyone, and at the same time, to feel loved more than anything by God.
Yeah, I mean, all this to say is, I really enjoyed the baptism. It was beautiful, like consecration to Mary. Like, it was something that I always wanted. And I just didn't know, like, it will happen at the baptism. Like, it was just so, like, all around special, like, for us, for our family, because we did a whole prayer to consecrate to Mary. Consecrate to Mary. And it was just, I was just, like, Wow.
We finally felt a family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to say that no one else feels like a family, right? But I think that you and I haven't felt like a family up until just recent.
Just now.
Just now, yeah. Like I
It was. Just
I've
a
never
lot of
been more in
things.
love with you than I have than now.
Yeah. Then
You know?
today. I'm just kidding.
Like I don't know. I found that once God loves me, I'm able to show that love,
Mm-hmm.
and I see you with eyes I've never seen you with before.
I guess now we understand the meaning of love because, you know, I guess love can be a little superficial sometimes. Like, oh, I love her. Oh, I love him.
I'll
But
do
do
anything
you,
for her, and then
like-
at the end I wouldn't.
Yeah. Like, it was just like kind of like, oh, yeah, I love her. But,
Yeah.
you know, she's there. She's crying, but she's fine.
Yeah, kind of like what your brother said one day when we went to Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Man, Jose, I've never seen you this active with your family before."
Yeah, because if they would have met us a couple of years back, we would have disaster.
Yeah.
Like each in our selfish ways, doing what we wanted to, cussing and saying what we wanted to, speaking our truth.
Throwing the religious things away because she never wanted to pray, and then whenever she wanted, I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go to church.
Yeah.
And whatever, but
just saying our truths in front of people.
Yeah, arguing.
Like, I've learned that that's not okay to do. Like, it's not okay to like call out your husband in front of everybody, or you tell me something in front of everybody. Like, that's just degrading your spouse. Like, that's just like pretty much disrespecting them. You know, in so many levels.
Oh yeah.
Which is not okay.
And I think that's what the baptism came to do for us. I feel like the baptism came, at least to me, it came to confirm and to see that family. And I felt loved as a family by God at that moment.
Yeah.
That moment there, being together, and that is Jonah. That I felt loved by God as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow. Never did I ever think that was going to happen one day.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just something, you know, I didn't expect. I mean, we saw videos right before the baptism, and I expected something, but to feel the way we did and to be happy afterwards was just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, but anyways, we just wanted to jump on here to kind of talk about, you know, our experience with this baptism. Later on, our videos might get a little longer, speak a little bit more in depth with other things, but we wanted to give our experience with the new way of baptism that we've discovered and what we felt and what we saw. So stay tuned. Hopefully next week, and if not, whenever we are able to post. We're parents, and as you can tell.
It's like, we're parents. Of course we're going to say something and then not do it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, thank you for joining us on God and Us, and hope to see you next time.